Hi everyone, welcome to my first official YouTube video. Before I get started, I do want to take a little moment to present myself. If you only care about the book review, I'm going to write down in the description to what minute to skip to. If you're curious to know more about me and about my new YouTube channel, then stay. So my name is Sarah. I was born and raised in Montreal. I'm 23 years old, and pretty much all my life I've always had so many different interests, and books were a big one, as well as fashion. And so for a couple of years now, I knew I wanted to start a blog, wanted to start a YouTube channel, but I really took it more seriously this year. And so I focused on my Instagram page, and now here we are on YouTube. So I will be posting book reviews, I will be posting fashion tips, skincare tips, kind of a little bit of mixture of all of that. Fashion meets literature, you could say. So if you're interested in any of that, feel free to click the subscribe button, check out my Instagram page and my TikTok as well. Without further ado, let's get started. For a couple of years now, I have been in a bit of a reading slump. I used to read so much in high school, like all the time. But then with university, with life changes, you get busy and tired. So I was kind of just not reading as much. But I finally got back into it, and I'm really happy, which is why I thought that it'd be a great way to start my YouTube channel with this and this amazing book that I'm sure a lot of you have heard of. I'm so late to the game, but I still want to talk about it. So today I'm going to be talking about A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. And as you can see, I have even taken the liberty to match my outfit to the cover because that is how obsessed I am. So I've had this book on my bookshelf for 3 years at least. I bought it like in 2017 or 2018, but like I said, I was in a book slump, and I just knew I was going to get attached, and I was not emotionally stable enough for that. I am going to try to describe it as much as I can without any spoilers. It's a bit difficult because there are 4 books in the series. Unfortunately, since I read the series late, the covers changed, but I'm gonna talk about that in my next video. So the book takes place in a world where mortals and fairies are divided. Centuries ago, there was this big war with a lot of bloodshed, and so basically humans and fairies just like absolutely hate each other. Humans are obviously regular people, and then fairies are those who are immortal. Some of them have special abilities, are stronger, more powerful. They're kind of like viewed as these amazing creatures, although humans are mostly terrified of them rather than like worship them. They hate them. Farah and her family are very poor. They're like struggling to like get food, and Farah kind of like goes out hunting for her family to help them survive. And so one night, as she's like out hunting in the cold, she sees this wolf-shaped creature which she assumes to be a fairy, and ends up killing him. And this is not a spoiler, it's basically just, you need to know this to like get into the plot. And so the friend of the fairy she killed comes and tells her that according to the human fairy treaty, either he kills her or she spends her life with him. So he takes her away to like the spring court, this fairy universe, and there's this villain, this spell, this curse going on. This is just the first book, like so much goes on later on. She kind of gets swept up in this world, and of course there's romance. So as like the back says, actually, she stole a life, now she must pay with her heart. That's very accurate. Let's get into the review section. So I had never actually really read any fantasy books. I was a little bit worried about being confused or sidetracked or not really understand what's going on, but I think the book did an excellent job at simplifying it. It's simple fantasy, it's nothing too complicated, you don't get confused, although sometimes, I had to take a moment to understand what the characters were. For example, there was like one creature and then another creature, so I had to like make sure I wasn't confusing them. And then even at the end of the book, there's like which I found interesting, it's a pronunciation guide to the names. So that was really cool because you get to actually hear the name the way the author intended it. And you also have a map at the beginning of the book, which usually maps are really overwhelming, but this one is really simple. But I found it to be really helpful. All this to say that the writing isn't really confusing. Like it's clear and to the point. and really good. So when I first started reading it, I was already hooked. And to me personally, it wasn't a slow book, but surprisingly, I saw some people comment that the first book lacked adventure, lacked like suspense, and it was kind of slow and they didn't really feel the plot, but I have to disagree. Personally, I was sucked into the book the whole time, like I didn't want to put it down, and it kind of just makes sense because you are still being introduced to this like new, completely different world, and so you're meeting characters, although you're gonna meet so much more later on. Like the first book, you don't even meet like half the characters yet. You're discovering the world, and to me, like every chapter had enough to keep me hooked in the book. The romance was amazing, although it just gets so much better later on. I thought the romance was good, but I was wrong, because when you read the other books, well, I just finished the second one. I still have the third to read, but it gets so much better. One of the reasons why I was scared of reading it is because Sarah J Maas is apparently known for changing love interests, which I hate, like absolutely despise. Like I don't want love triangles, I don't want the love interest to change. Like give me one guy and stick to it. I think she also does an excellent job at making you like characters. I really like the way she describes Farah. Maybe it's just because I really like her as a character. I know some people don't, but I think that despite her upbringing, she's rather brave and self-efficient. And then you're introduced to all these side characters who are just so lovable and so fun. It's just really, really easy to get attached to the book from the start, and you end up longing to be in this world. I didn't find it slow, but I guess like the most intense part is kind of like near the end of the book. That's where you just want to scream your head off. I think it was a great first book for a series. Like it was a great introduction. It was a great way to keep the reader wanting more. It ends at a conclusion, but not really a conclusion, because clearly there's more going on. Our characters are left scarred or having to deal with the aftermath of everything that happened. There aren't too many details, like you don't get bored having to read the details. There's just enough for you to be able to visualize yourself in the world. Conversation aspect of it is really well written. I'm like a sucker for conversation. Those are my favorite parts in books. Maybe, I don't know if it's just me or if it's like a common thing. There was a lot of like little funny moments, a lot of cute moments. It flowed very nicely. Part of Thorns and Roses, 9 on 10, although it could be a 10 on 10 as well. Just 9 on 10 because the second one is better. That's the only reason. But it's really good. You have to read it. It's a must. And it might help you get out of a reading slump the same way it helped me. So thank you for watching my video. I hope you liked it. I know I'm still new at this. If there's anything you would like to see, like things that I didn't really mention and you want me to mention, please feel free to comment below. I'll try to incorporate any feedback. I'm very appreciative of any. And next time I will be reviewing the second book, which is A Court of Mist and Fury. Oh my god, it's so good. I just started the third one, but I hear the second one is the best. So don't forget to subscribe if you want notifications on when my next video will be out, and make sure you check out my Instagram and TikTok as well. Bye!